Good afternoon, good evening, good night, good morning, wherever you are. It's Abs of October Red, and you will notice that this time there isn't a ASMR blank screen with an AI image produced of me and you just listen to my voice. You're actually seeing me this time, no AI. But we're here to do news and reviews. So a warm welcome back to all of you. I appreciate, once again, I always start off with housekeeping. I appreciate all the support, all the comments, all the shares, the reposts, the advice, all the stuff that you guys put in the comment section. I really do appreciate all of it. As you know, I try and go through every single comment. Sometimes I'm not getting notified about comments because I tick a tab where I should get notified so I can respond to you all as and when I can, albeit there may be a short delay in me getting back to you. I always try to. So thank you for continuously supporting the channel. I am on X, October Red. I am on IG by October Red. I think it's the same on TikTok as well. So if you could spread the love across those, even though YouTube's my main focus, it's still appreciated. So it's a difficult one to start off today, but I want to pass on my thoughts, my well wishes for two fighters, one being Raven Chapman, that we've seen an article about today, where I think it was the 24th of July, she collapsed after sparring. There was a swelling on the brain along with a bleed, and she was placed into a medically induced coma to obviously stop the swelling. I believe that they're pulling her out of that now, and they're trying to get her back to the UK, get her back to the UK so she can have, the medical assistance that she needs here. So my thoughts are with Raven. I spoke to her just before she had a fight with Caris Arting Stores on a boxer show a while ago. Lovely girl. Really nice person, a good set of people around her family, and there is a GoFundMe set up for her, so if you could kindly donate, I'll pop the link in the chat for that as well, so you can offer your support. And also Lee Reeves, who I believe remains in hospital, he boxed on the Queensbury card just gone and suffered a KO from Gary Colley. Obviously it was a great fight in what it was. I've never spoke to Lee Reeves, never met him, but I had a look at his socials post the news about him obviously being hospitalized as well, and he has also got a GoFundMe account set up. So if you could donate what you can, every little helps in these circumstances. It's one of the things that I've gone on about for ages, and it's medical health care insurance for fighters. I don't think there's anything that's provided as standard by the British Boxing Board of Control. I believe there is some kind of insurance if you fight on a certain card, so that relating to that fight, people will help financially. But overall, I don't think there's anything, unless you get it out as a private medical healthcare insurance, there isn't really anything there to help you. And I believe that all fighters, because of the nature of the sport, they should have medical healthcare as standard. You should not go anywhere near any sparring, training, whatever it is, unless you've got that medical insurance. Obviously, I'm presuming that the fee will be more of a premium, a high price, because of the sport that you do. So you guys out there with your managers, trying to get those prices incorporated in your purse, would be a common sense thing to do, because that's two fighters, one in sparring and one in a boxing match, that has suffered some kind of brain injury. And it's not necessarily about recovery, it's the fact that more than likely they won't be able to box again, because it will be brain scan failures. It'll be too dangerous for them to fight. So they could be young in age. We don't know how they're going to come out. Will they have a full recovery? Can they go and get a normal job? Or will there be, how can I put it, will they have issues, medical issues ongoing? So you have to think about the finances of the fighters, and fighters, especially you as well. You need to make sure all of these things are incorporated into your contract to make sure you get that private medical healthcare. So that's, you know, thoughts and prayers with both of those fighters. I'll put the GoFund links in the description below this video, so you can tap in, put as much as you want, whatever you can afford, because it really will help. So moving on, Joseph Parker, I saw something here and I was trying to find the source. Joseph Parker cleared to return, but the source is actually himself. I haven't seen any written documents as at, what time is it? It's what, 12:54. To be fair, I didn't check, but so something might have come out, but as at, he's the one that's saying it for himself. He's due to obviously return to the ring because he says that he's been cleared. Parker thanked supporters publicly and confirmed he expects to return to the ring soon, although further details surrounding the case have not been fully disclosed. In other words, we haven't heard from UCAD or whoever obviously found him the substance, which I believe is cocaine, to be in his system. The suspension has already cost him valuable time, even though I don't know what the suspension actually was. And it's basically, can he come back? I think he's still reasonably young, isn't he? I'll be surprised if he's over 34. I think he's quite young as a heavyweight because he was a world champion quite quickly. So him building up momentum to come back shouldn't be that bad, but we really need some clarification because it's not confirmed by anyone other than himself. And to be fair, if he's had that letter, the first thing he's going to want to do before anything goes out publicly is confirm it himself, because Joe Parker wants to box. And like how the belts are now, they're fragmented, and we'll move on to what's happening with the heavyweight division. He's not going to want to miss out on any opportunity, so I don't think he'd risk embarrassing himself if that wasn't the case. Albeit the caveat is I can't see any other sources. Speaking of heavyweights as well, we can move on to Richard Riakporhe. I posted a clip from TalkSport where they, you know, it was talking about Anthony Joshua, etc. And then it was like, okay, so are you with Boxer? And he was like, I can't really talk about that right now, which to me means no. Means that potentially there's legal goings on why you can't really get into, because he could have said, I'm in between contracts, I'm looking to renegotiate. There was none of that. It was like, I can't talk about that right now, which to me rings alarm bells and suggests that maybe there are some potential legal issues which Boxer don't seem to be shying away from at the moment, because obviously they were putting in legal issues towards, I believe it was Zuffa Boxing, for Jack Massey and other fighters that appeared on the Bournemouth show, Chris Billam-Smith, etc, etc. So it's all a bit of an entanglement. It's all a bit of a mess. Richard Riakporhe, I can say that he's in a good seat at the moment. No, he's not getting any younger. I think he's about 35, I think he is. But he's got the British heavyweight belt. There'll be some good fights for him to have with guys at that level, unless he, I don't know, gets signed by another promoter and decides to vacate and go for European and world honours. Like I said, with the heavyweight division, with the belts, with Usyk giving up the belts and saying, you guys go and have your fun now, go and fight for the belts, I've done my bit. I think it's going to be tempting for him to possibly not hold on to that, because it keeps him at a certain level. And if I know Richard, I believe that he believes he's well above that level. Obviously, he went for world contention at Cruiserweight, come up short on points against Chris Billam-Smith, but we'll see how he goes now that he's got Billy Nelson in his corner. So who would want to sign him? I initially said, you know what, only because something that Simon Jordan said, so credit to TalkSport, he goes, what do you think of Zuffa? But that could be a red herring. It could be something to divert us one way when he's going to another. We're not going to know what's going on because of the legal, what I believe allegedly could be potential legal issues. I don't know any more than that. I am guessing. I haven't spoke to Richard in a very, very long time, since before on the fight, when he had the fight with Jamie TKV. Actually, that was the last time I spoke to him. Haven't spoke to him since, so I really don't know what's going on. I say hello to Billy Nelson now and again, but I tend not to get involved in anything. And to be fair, to have that confidentiality with people that I speak to, I wouldn't be leaking anything on here anyway. I'd wait for him to potentially put something out, and then I'd follow on from it. But I'm just going to hazard a guess that it may not be a clean, pretty split from Boxer. There were some things going around on X. There were articles written about certain issues to do with Boxer and their fighters. However, those were removed. So I ain't about to get sued. I ain't about to get any legal letters for saying anything. But all of this is alleged. He's in a good position. Like I said, he's got the British belt. So could he go to Zoffa? I would have said yeah, because he's marketable. You can see him going over to America fighting anyway. He's not really bothered because he's somebody that travels a lot anyway and doesn't seem to have allegiance to the UK, as it were. Not even sure if he lives in the UK anymore. So with him going to Zuffa Boxing, international company, doing fights everywhere. They've got Ireland, yes, they've got London, and yes, they have had the US. I thought, yeah, you know, they're building their roster. They could do with some decent heavyweights, because the two heavyweights that they did put on last week, number one, I didn't know who they were, and they looked incredibly out of shape, specifically one in particular. So yeah, that would be a good move. I saw, okay, Queensbury, I thought they're kind of packed with heavyweights. Do they want any more? What, and forgive me, what kind of value would Richard add to their stable, because they're jam-packed already? Surely one day they're going to look to start cutting the fighters back and basically keeping the ones that they do believe that can generate them some income, or do have that marketability, that value, not just being good at their job. Because as we know, heavyweight fighters can lose fights, but if they're entertaining, if they bring a crowd, if they've got that about them, then it doesn't really matter what their record is as such. There's examples out there. You guys can do the maths. So it'd be interesting to see Queensbury. Look, I could be wrong. I'm not saying that he won't go to Queensbury. I'm not saying that he's going to stay with Boxer. I doubt it. And then there was Matchroom. One of the guys on my Instagram said, yeah, he's probably going to go to Matchroom. But I thought he's already been with Matchroom. He was there when he was with Dillian White. Fair enough, it's new beginnings and stuff. And Matchroom do need some heavyweights. But do they? Matchroom are very, very, even though their opinion might have slightly changed now with the market getting more aggressive, they really pride themselves on, how can I invest in this fighter? What can this fighter do? Is Richard a fit for them? And I didn't see him like going around in circles and saying, yeah, I'll go back to Matchroom. So I was sort of like siding with Zuffa. But as you think about it, he could be any of them, but I'd be extremely shocked if he stays with Boxer. Let me know which one you think that he could go to, or he should go to. It was mixed. IG was saying Matchroom, Twitter was saying Zuffa, and that's what I love about it. And you can see the different type of followers, subscribers, supporters that I've got, because everyone's got different opinions depending on the platform that you're broadcasting on. It was just, yeah, one said Zuffa, one said Matchroom, nobody said Queensbury, but who knows. So we'll see. Cruiserweight politics then, we'll move on to that. We saw the announcement with Jai Opetaia fighting Noel Mikaelian. Forgive me, I don't know if I think the only belt there is a Zuffa belt, but obviously Mikaelian I thought was going to fight Benavidez. So it seems as if potentially, and I think this was according to Everything Boxing, so shout out to you, potentially there could be another legal entanglement involving Opetaia once again, but this time taking Noel Mikaelian away from the Benavidez fight, which apparently was good to go. Was it announced? Was it signed? I'm not privy to the paperwork. I'll let you guys have your thoughts on that. Everywhere Jai Opetaia goes, there seems to be some kind of legal battle behind him. Before he went to Matchroom, he had a legal issue. Then he went to Matchroom, and then he's now put in something legally about obviously the IBF taking the belt off him, when we've already been through this. I don't think he's got a leg to stand on. I think his problem is within his team, and now once again he seems to be in something else. Noel Mikaelian, I still think, yeah, it's a cruiserweight fight that a few people spoke about. Even I spoke to Richard Riakporhe on a couple of occasions about him fighting Noel Mikaelian. I believe that was a fight that was supposed to happen but didn't. So yeah, a good opponent, and obviously it's pissed off David Benavidez, so we'll see what happens. And that is on the undercard of Ryan Garcia and Conor Benn. I'm looking forward to that fight. I enjoyed the press conference. I like the lead up to all of it. I think it's great for boxing. When you're looking at the entertainment value, it's been entertaining so far. What we expect on the night. Some people have actually said they believe that Conor Benn will win, but we will have to see. So, moving on, we had the announcement of the allegiance, the alliance, the togetherness with MVP and Matchroom. Skye Nicolson being like the poster person for that integral working together. Let's all be friends, and I don't mind that, to be fair. And I think even MVP's announced that they took over PFL as well, so they are getting into the MMA. Obviously Matchroom signed a couple of mixed martial arts UFC fighters, so what are we going to get there? I sense that there's something going on in the background, but unfortunately as soon as the announcement went out that Skye was going to be fighting on MVP's Birmingham card, which headlines with Michaela Mayer and Chantal Cameron, she's injured, so unfortunately she's had to pull out of that. It's a bit sad really, because it was good for her to get back out there going into MVP. I know her and Alicia Baumgartner were quite close at some points. It'd be interested to see that, you know, that dynamic. Will the girlies get back together? But unfortunately it's postponed at this stage due to an injury sustained by Skye Nicolson, but thank God it's nothing serious. It's something that she can recover from and obviously come back later. That's kind of the sum up really, you know. But what I want to say, you know me, sentimental Sally, however you want to put it, is boxing is an extremely dangerous sport that I think us as fans, I always speak as a fan because that's what I am, I'm not a fighter, we often take for granted. We don't realise the risks and the dangers. I'll always go back to the Patrick Day scenario where he fought 4 weeks before, I think it was, may have suffered a knockout, however went back in, and obviously we know what ended up, how he ended up, so rest in peace Patrick Day. Then we hear about Lee Reeves, and I was going through his socials and he was talking about staying hydrated for, you know, brain health, boxing's dangerous, and then ironically and horrifically he suffers a bad injury during a fight, and obviously there's Gary Colley as well that's going to be feeling terrible about it because, you know, he was in that fight. There's all sorts of knock-on effects from this. We have, you know, Raven Chapman, she was sparring, you know, and then collapsed suddenly. That's how the message started off. I think we are so quick to like label fighters. We have these like levels in our heads where we think this fighter's here, this fighter's there, and if they're not, they're useless or whatever. No, they're not. All of them possess some sort of skill, and they do get in the ring, and they've got a license to kill, haven't they? It's a dangerous sport. You're getting punched in the head, and there are on occasion some really severe consequences. So I just want to leave this news and reviews just basically saying, just be kind, you know, and if you can support any of the fighters, if you're looking to sponsor some of the fighters, really think about, okay, I'm not going to maybe give you any money a month, but I'm going to pay your medical health insurance for a year, which will really help. Something like that, something that can help them, save them. You know, sometimes fighters don't really, they look at things like they're glittery and shiny and don't really think about, okay, maybe I need to be building for my future, maybe I need to be thinking about my healthcare. They're just like, sometimes, you know, when you come from nothing and you get money, you can squander it. So if there's anybody that, you know, can help the fighters, can support the fighters in which way you can when it comes to like health, therapy, also psychologists as well. So fighters are carrying around a lot of trauma, and they could do with those therapy sessions. And like I said, this is just sentimental Sally side of me. If you can help, I'm sure the fighters would really appreciate your help. Content from me, obviously you've got this Tyler Denny conversation with him is going to be put out as well, as he's out there fighting in Ireland. Obviously I'm not going over to the Zuffa fight, and I haven't managed to pull any interviews in from those fighters, but blame me, I'll take full accountability for that. I am supposed to be getting a guest on. If the guest comes on, it will be a live. Hopefully that will be this week, but I'm not saying anything because every time I say something it flops, or some voodoo cow out there does some rubbish and it just steps on my magic and ruins it. So Stummalummer. But there are a lot of fights coming up. Matchroom have sent out like 4 different accreditations. They're really active in the UK this year. I'm really looking forward to it, to go into some of them fights. I know, I'm here. I'm coming to you in a minute. Just give me a minute. So I will be going to all of the press conferences, but I won't be going to all of the fight nights. I will be doing more watch-alongs as suggested, because I really do enjoy the watch-alongs, and obviously it does save money. If there are any sponsors out there that would like to get in touch and say, for example, have your business advertised either when I'm going to the press conferences and interviewing guests or having conversations with guests, as I like to say, or you want your business on a banner as I'm doing a live stream, you can get in contact with me. All the details are there, my email address, etc, etc. So yeah, I'm just trying to think. Let me have a quick look on X and make sure I haven't missed anything out, as the cat goes absolutely bonkers behind me. Let me see if anything is... Yeah, we've got Frank Warren that's put out a message, obviously, to Raven, and obviously posted the GoFundMe link on there as well. Oh yeah, we didn't speak about it, but I'm not going to speak about it. Allegedly, the Fury, Joshua Fury fight is going to be in New York, whatever. I'll leave that to everyone else to talk about. Parker, like I said, he was the one that says he's clear to fight. We haven't had anything official that's come through. And then obviously you've got Noel Mikaelian, Opetaia. We spoke about that. Good fight that is. We've got more stuff there. I'm just making sure there is nothing missing off this to make sure you are all up to date with the fights. So yes, there should be a watch along this weekend. I want to cover obviously Tyler Denny's fight. You've obviously got the boxer fight as well, the rematch, anticipated rematch between Troy Williamson and Callum Simpson. Obviously James Dean Fury makes his debut on that card as well. Obviously I support him because of my mutual friendship with Peter Fury as well. But the watch along probably will be centered around Ireland, so keep your notifications on for that. Yes, the notifications are getting dumbed down. I thought it was a blag at first, but I've been told by people, and I know, you know, family members and stuff that have subscribed to support my channel said, listen, we're not getting your notifications anymore. And you can see that they're pushing certain channels forward and suppressing other YouTube channels. Make of that what you will. Yeah, I think that's it really. So guys, thank you very much. If you've got this far, you're amazing. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you very much for listening. Obviously you can hear Cat running around, and as we say at October Red, stay ready. Ooh, crazy cats, crazy cats.